What's up, everybody, and welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. Today we're going to do a little story time. Story time takes place, it's going to start, when I was in high school. It's going to end, obviously, when I was out of high school. But I saw a comment about this situation on getbig.com, which I go on there and I lurk, I check it out, I interact, and whenever I do interact, I get trolled the fuck out of, so it's like, it gets boring, because even when you fight back, fucking, it's just bullshit. But anyways, let's go back to high school. I had a group of friends that we were all pretty tight, we hung out together. It was me, Henry, Trisha, Brian, Jenny, Michelle, and Sandy was part of this crew from time to time. She hung out with us and some other people. Sandy was very much kind of a loner, did her own thing. And I just remember when I first got to Warren High School, I thought Sandy was really pretty. Like, right off the bat, I was like, wow, this is a really pretty girl. And, she was kind of into the heavy metal scene, the hard rock scene, which is what me and Henry were into. So, of course, like, our kind of friends that, all hung out together, we'd wind up in the same circle. So we wound up meeting, and we all wound up becoming good friends. But I always had this crush on Sandy. Like, I really liked her. It was, her kind of, like, fuck you attitude. At the same time, she could be really nice and just really pretty. I just remember she just always kind of, you couldn't tell if she was joking on it. She'd be like, fuck you. And then she'd bust out laughing. It was just her demeanor and how she was. So I don't think it was any secret to all of our friends in common that, I had this big crush on Sandy. And this went on for back and forth for about, a few years until Sandy kind of started doing her own thing, and we weren't quite all hanging out together and stuff. And then we had a fight, and I don't remember what the fight was about. It was some kind of stupid fucking argument. And at that point, she hated me. For whatever it was, I don't fucking remember, and I think I was mad at her, too. Like, it kind of went back and forth, and by the time we graduated our senior year, things had been worked out. We were on speaking terms again, and it was more of just like, fuck it. We're all graduating. We're all going our own direction. This whole thing was fucking stupid. We all come from the same place. Our town is very small. Excuse me. Our school is being regionalized with the next school in the next town, Bristol. There was going to be no more Warren High School. So we all kind of held that bond of we're the last graduating class of Warren High School. And that was 1993, which may make me seem pretty old to some of you guys. But back to the story anyways. So we all graduated, started doing our own things. And, you kind of hear about, this person's doing that, this one's going to college, this one got a job here. This one went in the Marines, like my friend Bobby, who I was supposed to go with, and I backed out, so he went alone. Sorry, Bob. But he wound up loving the Marines anyways. So, and I don't remember. She wound up, I don't know if she was married. I think she got married. And she was married to a DJ, Dr. Metal. I think it was his brother or it was him, if I remember correctly. Dr. Metal was on 94 HJY, and he was the guy who played all the metal songs, like midnight on Saturday and midnight on Friday. He had his own show. And, of course, a big band comes to town. A big band that was, big in the early 90s, Great White. Now you guys may see where I'm going with this. So Great White was a popular hair band. They had that song Once Bitten, Twice Shy, which was huge for them. And they were kind of out of the spotlight. They were, I don't want to say washed up, but, the alternative bands came in, and stuff like Pearl Jam and alternative rock were the new thing. It was popular, and they were kind of the old farts and kind of out of it. So they were doing like small club tours instead of these giant stadiums, which they couldn't pack anymore. So of course you had people that were my age that listened to them, and of course Sandy's age. And if you're going to have a concert in Rhode Island, of course 94 HJY, which is the rock channel, is going to be the one promoting it and advertising it. So 94 HJY sent Dr. Metal and his brother or whatever, and Sandy, they were all at the station. Now, here's where details get a little bit fuzzy, I guess, because there's many different reports. From what I could gather from the reports over hearing things on the news and what people said, could be rumors or whatever, Great White came into the station, which was the name of the club, and wanted to put up pyrotechnics. Now, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, because it's a small club. They were told flat out, no, don't use the pyrotechnics. The soundproofing in this, because it was almost in a residential neighborhood area, is old, it's dried out, like it's been here for a while. We don't want to take any chances. So Great White says, okay, they're not going to do it. Well, for whatever reason, they decided to do it and not tell the station that they're going to do it. They set off these pyrotechnics which immediately, and there's a video of this, I remember seeing it, immediately catch the soundproofing material on fire. And you see this fire go straight up the back of the stage onto the ceiling, and like that. Like, it was ridiculous. Like it was a movie. Like it was a fucking demon coming out of it. It was just crazy looking. And some people were like, oh, wow, part of the show. Oh, cool, fire on the ceiling. And some people were like, fuck. They realized right away, and they turned, and everybody tried to get towards those back doors. The emergency exits were locked. They locked the emergency exits so that people couldn't open them and have people sneak in. They wanted to make sure all the tickets were sold, they got all their money, and people weren't sneaking in. As everybody rushed towards these back doors, they got wedged into the door. Not many of the people survived. Most of the people that were at that concert died in the fire that night, and one of them was Sandy. And I look back now and I think, obviously nobody knew that was going to happen. Nobody knew that it was even a possibility of becoming a reality. And, I feel comfortable with saying, that we had made up and been on good terms, and, that when she passed away, there was nothing that I had to say to her that I have to get off my chest or anything like that. But, coming from that point that it's a girl that you liked and you had a crush on, you kind of chased her around through your whole high school career, and, she hung out with our whole crew and stuff. You look at that and you go, man, that's something that, you can't plan for. You can't even imagine it happening. I mean, shit, I think she was about 22 or something like that when this fire happened. 22 years old, burned to death in a fire, along with these other people. All because the band wanted to put these fucking pyrotechnics on and, put on a better show, but to prove that they weren't has-beens. And I'm pretty sure one or two of the band died in the fire too. So after this whole thing went down, I think it made national news, and a lot of people knew about it. I mean, Rhode Island's a very small place. Not much goes on there. Jim Kari in the movie Me, Myself, and Irene pretty much put it on the map as far as the Rhode Island State Police, with that whole thing that they had going on. And the Farley brothers who make those movies, like Dumb and Dumber, some of that was filmed in Rhode Island. But other than that, you don't really hear too much about Rhode Island until this thing hit and it was nationwide news. But Get Big had the thread that said, has anybody been affected by it? Did it affect anybody in Get Big's life? And I'd say, yeah, it affected me, it affected Henry, it affected Trisha, Brian, Jenny, Michelle. It affected all of us that were friends with Sandy that, in a sense, grew up with her through high school. That's when you're doing a lot of your, becoming a young adult, finding out who you are and finding out what you're all about. And I'd say that, to this day, I think about the things that people said happened inside that, the way the firefighters talked and stuff. It's fucking horrible. All because someone's fucking ego got in the way and wanted to prove that they were still relevant. The fucking band. So, fuck you, Great White. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you guys. It's boils down to egos can fuck things up, not just for you, but for a lot of people around you. So check the ego at the door and fucking be humble. And, there's nothing else to say. bios3training@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.bios3training.com is a blog, and where? Here's to you, Sandy. The Sandy, the cardio bicep, and we're out.
ExtremeLiving.biz would like to announce that we are bringing Jerry Ward of BioS3 Training and Jason English of Big J's Extreme Fitness to our booth at the 2014 Blue Ridge Fitness Festival, where Mark the Machine Lowbliner will hold the ANBF Natural Bodybuilding Show. More information can be found at ExtremeLiving.biz. See you there.